Hey everybody, Mike Barr here. It is February 19th, 2023, and my Safety Sunday topic for the day is avoiding complacency. This is a topic that kind of goes along a little bit with last week's topic, which was we talked about job briefings, and the week before stop work. So I think this one kind of fits nicely with it. And I want to talk a little bit about complacency in our industry. And I believe that truly that complacency is our biggest enemy for us. And we just have this problem. And guys, it's not just the line industry. It's all work, but particularly in ours. I think that complacency is very prevalent, and of course, it's a state of mind where a worker just we eventually get out of touch with the hazards that are around us, and it's very easy, and of course, it happens over time, where we tend to take the conditions and some of the context around us for granted, and it especially happens, of course, when we get caught up in regular routine work day after day after day. That's where complacency can really affect us. And sometimes we just get to the point where we don't notice the cues that are around us that may be out of the norm. So, and of course, it contributes, in my mind, to some of these critical errors that are being made. Which, of course, increase the probability that we're going to have that serious injury or fatality, because it does. It tends to take our mind off of the task, and our mind off of the task, and it puts us in the line of fire. And we just become so secure in our work and what we're doing and our abilities to do that work, that we can take potentially dangerous shortcuts in those tasks, and we get to the point sometimes where we don't perform the same quality, especially with when as it relates to safety, and we just we're not aware of some of these deficiencies that are happening. So and again, complacency among line workers is common. But it's really important that we remain vigilant and very aware of the workplace hazards that are around us, because, as I've talked about before, our industry is predictable. We have the rules, we have procedures, we have, I believe, a process developed for any hazard that we can face. But while our industry is predictable, it is also very unforgiving. And there's just too many times where in our industry we have workers that don't follow the rules, and there's no negative consequences. I can violate a mad distance and get away with it many times. And because of that, we tend to become a little bit complacent about some of the rules. So it's extremely dangerous for complacency to be in our industry while performing line work. We get used to doing things the same way, of course, and so we sometimes don't always look at the hazards in our surroundings, and it's really it's very easy for us to underestimate the risk of these tasks that we're performing, especially, again, like I said, if they're regular or routine. And we fail to notice the change in our environment because we've become complacent in our daily routines. So it again contributes to those critical errors, and it will increase the probability of an injury. So because again, it's what takes our mind and our eyes off the task and puts us in that line of fire. So guys, just always every day, examine your equipment, think about the procedures, talk about the procedures, talk about the hazards that may exist, and keep yourself physically and of course mentally focused on your work. No matter how many times we've done it, no matter how routine it is, we've got to keep that mental focus on the work, because most of these incidents that we're having are caused by an unsafe act. And all of our companies are working hard. Nobody wants these things to happen, and we're working very hard to make sure that they don't. But unfortunately, another thing about our industry is we don't get a lot of second chances with some of these hazards. Once that critical mistake is made, the consequences are huge in our industry. So try to think about this on a daily basis, and think about whether or not you're becoming complacent, and if you are, how do I avoid it? And of course, just be aware. Awareness is something that has to be a part of each of us every day. If we're not thinking about what could go wrong, during the day and pretty much all day while we're working, we may be missing some critical steps. So take time to listen to that internal safety radar. We all have it. Every one of us has that safety radar, and we need to listen to it because it will keep you safe. And so we have it. It's there. When it goes off, we need to act. So just think ahead, and think about these things when you go to work. What am I working with? What am I going to be doing? Where am I going? Where's this work going to take me in relation to some of these hazards that exist? What could go wrong? And ask yourself often, am I becoming too comfortable? And again, just make sure you're focused mentally on this work, and no matter how many times you've done it, and always remember that you are the last one to have the hands on it. You're the last one to have that train of thought go through your mind on what got you where you're at right now, what you're about to do, and what that potential outcome is. Just you. So remember that always, and let's have a great week, safe week. Let's all go home to our families, and we'll talk next week. Thanks.